Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Lens. I'm your host Mikey Rossi, and today I'm joined by a Niagara College television production graduate in the industry with lots of experience. Please welcome Andy Archibald. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us. It's a true honor.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad to be back.
So to start off this interview, I want to kick off with your experience. So while you were attending the BRTF program, what was it like for you? Tell me your experience.
My experience, so I did the full 3 years here. I believe the program has changed since I've been here, but I started, radio, television, film, doing it all the first year. And then I believe end of our first year, we branched off and we got to decide what, program we wanted to do within the program. So I chose TV, and it has been a decision I have not regretted since. I had a great time. I made a lot of friends in the program who I still actually work with often to this day. So the program has done wonders for me. And then, graduated in 2017 and have been working on and off since, more on than off, which I am thankful for. And
to add on, what was your biggest takeaway from the program that impacted you in the real life experience?
Biggest takeaway for me was probably our internship, actually, in our third year for the television program. I interned at 2 different places. So I interned at Global News, and then I interned at Big Brother Canada. So getting that experience combined really helped shape what I was to do in the future and helped me choose what path I decided to go on.
And from all those experiences, would you say that they differ from one another when all of your work experiences?
Yes, I would say Big Brother Canada, so I mostly work in unscripted reality TV now. So that was more the path I decided to take based on doing the news. So they are 2 very different formats and they're structured very differently. So news is very much like live TV in a way because you're doing a live broadcast every night. So everything you're doing, even though in reality there's a sense of urgency to everything you do, the way you do it in news and sports is very differently than what you would in reality, where you would have, say, a month to shoot something, whereas in news you have the day to get the content that you need, or like a couple of days for a certain broadcast.
And which one do you prefer doing the most out of your personal experience?
Definitely the reality TV aspect of it is my favorite. Doing news, although I do love the rush of having to do something so quickly and being able to accomplish something in such a small amount of time. I think for me, with having the structure of having, 30 days to shoot something or 2 weeks to shoot something and having all the time, not all of the time you need, but all the time you need for yourself to be prepared for what you need for a shoot. Where I still will work in news and will work in sports as well. And I do love doing it when I do because it's so different and gives me that rush. But other than that, I do love the reality aspect so much more.
Let's take a look at some behind the scenes footage of you on set, followed by a commercial. We will be right back.
applause. Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
And welcome back to Behind the Lens. So, looking at the footage we saw of you behind the scenes on multiple different shows, what can you tell me about them? How was your experience?
Every experience is different. Some are really good, some are more hardworking than others, and it takes a while to like feel the gratification. But I think all in all, when you see the end product of what you've done for a show and all the hard work you've put into it, it all becomes a great experience at the end. Like every show you will work on, there's going to be something insane that happens that you're going to have to deal with, or something bad, something, you know, just that will bring your mood down. It's just really how you are able to tackle it and carry on, and then just see yourself follow through and get to the end. And like the end result is better than what you can imagine.
So to add on to that, on unexpected shifts on set, have you ever experienced that? And if so, how did you manage?
Yeah, I've definitely experienced multiple unexpected shifts. One would be on a show I worked on this summer called Beast Games for a YouTuber named Mr. Beast. A big shift that happened was right after our pre-production, which was only about 2 weeks. The head of our department ended up quitting on day 2 of production. So me and my colleagues, there's about 4 of us, we had to then shift everything we sort of knew, and we had to take on a more of a leadership role than what we're used to by heading a department of a very unique show in general, because in Canada at least we haven't shot something quite like that. So it was a very big learning curve, and it was insane, but we became all the better for it because we learned so many different things you wouldn't normally learn, I think, so early, I guess, in your career when you have to take on the responsibilities of a department head. Like, you're involved with so much more of the production, and I see it as sort of like not really like when you come into work you have the expectations of what you're supposed to be doing that day, whereas now you are creating the expectations for others. So that was very, very interesting to learn, and I take with me to all of my jobs now. Yeah.
And following back to the BRTF program, what is something that you wish was touched more on, or you learned more about, that maybe could have prepared you for the Mr. Beast incident?
Yeah, that's fair. I think, I'm not sure how much the program has changed now, but I think having a class most likely about how to deal with your own, not only your own finances, but like when you advance more in career, you have to deal with things like payroll for other people. People can't just not get paid. You have to deal with the outcome of like 1,000 emails at once, whether it has to do with payroll, whether it has to do with schedules. Either way, you have to learn how to talk to an accounting department, know certain codes, be able to do finances in more ways than one, whether it be for other people for tax purposes, for the company for tax purposes, and just it expands more into that. So I think a class that talks about finances in general, and then also more of the reality of what your own finances will look like going into it. As a freelancer, you never know when your next job is going to be. So having something that can help prepare you for having financial stability in your future, yeah, as you go along in your career.
That's awesome. Let's take a look at some of your experience on All Abroad Canada, followed by a commercial. We will be right back.
college ball.
Niagara College programs immerse students with a highly experiential learning environment enhanced by digital technologies. We place students at the center of all that we do. We are Niagara College.
And we're back to Behind the Lens. So, looking at the insert over there, I have seen you with an animal. Tell me about that. What was your experience on this set?
So the show All Round Champion is my longest running contract, and I've worked on it since the 2nd season, and it had just aired its 6th season, I believe 2 years ago now. And now we're going into our 7th season and hoping to continue carrying on this fall. But it's one of my favorite shows to work on. It taught me a lot about my skills and capabilities in this industry because I started as a cast chaperone. So I would live inside the house with all the athletes on the show, making sure it's sort of like, it felt like glorified babysitting in a way. To get them ready, make sure they have their right wardrobe, etc. Get them ready for sets, and then they come back and we make sure we go over their day, all of that sort of stuff. And I've moved up since then through the ranks. I went from that to cast coordinator, and then I moved to the story department. And it was this show that made me realize I can do other things other than work in the cast department, because I thought that was my ultimate path at one point. But when I started working in the story department as a story coordinator, it made me realize that there are other skills and things I can still learn, even though I felt so set in my career. So when it came to story, it's things like being able to get animals for a certain episode that they need, and how you go about doing that, where you coordinate with different departments like the challenge department, and what organizations do you reach out to so that we can get certain animals on set for whatever challenge we need. So I was able to help be responsible for those sorts of things, and then be able to take each storyline and continue it to each episode, so we know what story we're following, and have the end result be the story that the contestant wants to be shown, and for the viewers that they want to see as well. And it really is just a great experience working on that show.
And it sounds like it. And I have to ask, with you being so involved with TV, what trends do you see shaping the future of TV?
Social media will be a big thing in the future, if not already a huge trend in our like industry right now. Not only do you need to have a show that's like airable for TV, but you also need to be able to have clickbait content and like content in short form online to keep the younger audience coming back for more. And I do say younger audiences, but I do believe that it spans from like young kids to people that are even my mom's age, who are now on TikTok and getting a lot of her content from TikTok, which I was shocked myself. But it is like the reality of where our future is going. So it's very interesting because we have more and more social media aspects on set, where we either like have hired a crew, or a crew comes in that is all social media that you're also working around. While they're getting their content, you're also getting your content.
And I agree. I've heard a lot about AI too, maybe having an impact.
Yes.
Well, coming to conclusion, well, folks, that is all the time we have today on Behind the Lens. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you. And till next time,
Yeah, it's
rolling
a pleasure
out.
to be here.